Alright, so this could be a slightly shorter Red Dead 2 video because I know that I'm only going to be doing one video. It's a Sadie Adler mission down in Saint Denis. I believe it could be the conclusion here in Chapter 6. But before we start, I just wanted to address one of my viewers. So Maya B left a string of comments on multiple videos addressing certain plot facts. And I think it's a good idea to kind of go through some of them because it might fill some of the holes. I mean, most of it was not necessarily news to me, but it's definitely a great refresher on some of the finer points of the plot that are kind of important up to this point. So here are some of the really specific things that Maya pointed out. So obviously we've had run-ins with the O'Driscolls before. The O'Driscolls killed Kieran, but also the hot air balloon pilot that took us over the state penitentiary to rescue John Marston was also killed by the O'Driscolls. So that's kind of just another point as to why we continue getting tangled up with them. They've had a bit of an impact on us. I think all of the gangs have to some degree, maybe some more than others, with the Lemoyne Raiders, etc. But that gives us even more kind of ammunition against the O'Driscolls. And then we talked a little bit in the last couple videos about Arthur and his TB and how sick he is, and more specifically where he contracted his tuberculosis from. So obviously we know that Arthur beat a man to death, and that's how he contracted TB. I believe within the last 5 or 10 videos, I did mention that I believed it was Thomas Downs, and obviously yes, it was. It's tough. This is now going to be our 66th part. And, so much goes on. And, a lot of times I'm so focused on the stream that, sometimes there are little tidbits of information that can kind of escape you. But that's kind of an easy one because that was kind of a larger plot point. I remember being Arthur and beating Thomas Downs. So by beating Thomas Downs to death, we would have never had to deal with Edith or Thomas Downs at all had we not gotten involved in Strauss and his lending business. And so ultimately, Strauss, really is the man behind the curtain, the puppet master, if you will, behind Arthur and his sickness. And another reason why Arthur was so aggressive towards him and kicking him out of the gang, that's a big reason behind it, for sure. Edith Downs lost her husband early because Arthur came knocking and knocked him around, right? That's when I beat him. Sort of a full circle kind of plot twist, exactly. That's why Arthur's sick and dying now, sort of a full circle kind of plot twist. So again, that's with Edith Downs and Thomas Downs. And that's why those Edith Downs missions have kind of become part of the story, almost, or a larger part of the story, and not just a set of stranger missions. It plays in larger to the main plot. The blind... Also, apparently I missed a dialogue option that where a discussion about potentially Arthur's son. So Arthur's son potentially would have been discussed. Maya suggested that perhaps we go back and replay that mission. She gave me the timestamp on the video for what she's talking about. So that might be worth something exploring. This is just my initial run of Red Dead Redemption 2 here, so I'm not trying to get the full 100% picture of Red Dead 2. I'm just playing it through my initial playthrough to typically I won't go back with initial playthroughs of things. Obviously, if I'm 100%ing something, that's different, but we'll see. And then she also suggested that I max out my bonding level with Buell before we reach the end of this chapter. I had a feeling Buell, inheriting him and keeping him might allow us to reap some benefits. She's suggesting that there is a unique cutscene that will occur should I continue with Buell. I think that's who I'm using as my main horse right now, so that should work out in our favor. So those were just a couple points. I really appreciate that, Maya. Thank you for taking the time and not only watching the videos, but taking the time to interact as part of the community here. And I can definitely appreciate that. And I wanted to kind of address some of those and bring them up to the larger audience, because that kind of helps us recap. These are things that are still relevant, especially the Thomas Downs, Edith Downs situation. Arthur's whole involvement with them has essentially caused his own demise, his own death. So, and ultimately he never would have got tangled up with them if it wasn't for Strauss. So that kind of explains that whole plot series. Again, just to kind of go over it, I think there was a little bit of confusion in one of my last videos. I was kind of like, I can't remember the exact name off the top of my head of the person who Arthur beat to death. But I did guess right there. So I thought I remembered that specifically. We've dealt with Edith Downs multiple times, but we haven't actually. That interaction with Thomas Downs happened a long time ago. It wouldn't surprise me if it was 40 some odd videos ago, potentially. So. I mean, we have had this. We've had an acquaintance with Edith Downs. She's been our acquaintance since very early on in the game. It all started as part of Strauss's lending missions, and that was really one of the first kind of camp missions that we ever did. It was very, very early on. I know that for sure. So again, thank you, Maya, for going into a little bit of finer detail there and just kind of picking out some plot points that are 100% a good refresher. So I was going to tackle this Sadie Adler mission in the last video, and we got caught up on a side series of stranger missions. Instead, I believe they were stranger missions. They were side missions anyways, and they were all in the Annesburg, Van Horn kind of region on the east side of the map, if you will. So we're basically just riding south, and actually we already rode to Saint Denis. That's right, I took the time at the end of the last video to ride south into Saint Denis. So we're actually already in Saint Denis. I've already got outfitted the way that I would like to. So I just have to make sure that my cores are all okay. I'm going to probably sleep and eat at a saloon, and then we'll go and immediately tackle that Sadie Adler mission, which is that one. So I am here right beside the barber shop, and we gotta get to the saloon.
Oh, hello there.
Totally couldn't see the saloon because it was hiding behind the poker chip icon on the map, but we got it. Yeah, I don't want to say that I've played passively and I don't even know what's going on in the game, but there's just so many different relationships. There's so much going on. There's so much side stuff. And also just, I mean, I've been playing this for a year, so 66 videos spread out over a year. I haven't really streamed as much as, you know, maybe I had initially planned. And when you're going that long in between streams, when you think about it, that Thomas Down mission we probably completed close to a year ago. So it's easy to kind of forget some of these plot points, and now these plot points are being carried out way late into the game like this, having an impact way later on. So it's important to just kind of refresh them, and to have that affirmation, I guess, just to you know, confirm that we have everything straight. I don't want to
save her life.
I wouldn't stay for it.
I come home and the potatoes aren't even boiled. I tell her I work all day. You can't even boil a potato.
You gotta put your foot down. See, I get home, I check everything. Every room, every shelf, everything.
Yeah, and would it be too much to come home to a pour drink once in a blue moon? Here! Oh, come on! God, what in
Y'all
God's
wanted a
name?
drink? There you go.
Lady?
Now shut the hell
I
up.
can't. She's got her mind.
What's wrong with you?
Let's go.
bit of a commotion on the streets of Saint Denis.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, I don't want to spread misinformation, especially if you're a new viewer and you might be joining the series kind of midway. So you don't want to spread misinformation. So also go back to some of the last few videos. I believe are the ones that Maya commented on. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but check out her comments, Maya B. She definitely helped clear up some potential confusion anyways.
Too bad. It really is. Can somebody horsewhip him for me, please?
Salut, mon mignon.
The love of all that is holy.
Care to have some fun?
Oh, what do you have? Please.
Evening, mister.
Can you keep it down a bit, Lillian?
Enjoy your evening alone.
I'd like some soup. The lobster bisque, please.
Good evening.
Just gonna have something lighter. Didn't really feel like ribs, so we're definitely gonna eat, and we'll sleep real quick here.
Family about it.
Bonsoir.
I did not that long ago, but then we did that side stuff, so it's gonna be important to do it again here, and then we'll just tackle that Sadie Adler mission. It's been a long time since I've been in this bar, and I hate this place because literally the minute you walk through the door, every single person stares at you because they're all the proletariats.
The days to meet a beautiful woman who can even...
Bonsoir, monsieur.
Not the proletariats. I think I'm misusing the words proletariat and bourgeoisie, am I not?
What does a dried up old hag have to do to get drunk around here?
Yeah, proletariat is working class. I mean the bourgeoisie.
Gentlemen,
They're all like higher class. Man, that's some
not even good
grade
drunks.
11, 12 English right there. You don't want to be revisiting those times of life.
I apologize for the noise, sir. She's had one too many.
Oh, that's cool. So I had a bath recently. I don't need that. Just the
Can I
room
get a
for the
room,
night.
please?
Okay, room's all set. Just head upstairs when you're ready.
This town is so
You
bloody
look like you need
boring.
to let off some steam.
Boring. All of you. You're all boring. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Not an interesting mind or a nasty habit among the lot of you. Place used to be sophisticated. Stories I heard would make a devil blush. Not anymore. The devil's gone elsewhere. And we're left with the choir masters. And not the fun kind. No, sir.
Okay, alright, so it's morning now. So all we have to do is head downstairs. We should be equipped and everything. I know we're outfitted properly. Sorry, dude. I don't
You
want you
gonna
to go
quit
down the
following me?
stairs first because you're gonna be too slow. See, now I'm
You
stuck
got a
behind
problem?
you.
Please let me be.
I'm not even following you. I'm allowed to walk down the stairs.
I'm going, all right?
God, these paranoid people. It's like when you're on the subway and you get stuck behind somebody on the stairs who's going too
This'll do
slow,
for
but
me
it's so
nicely.
crowded that you can't move anywhere anyways.
Well.
This here is a real man's game.
Thank you.
everything? Doing well. J'en suis ravie.
Come on, boy.
Ah, can you feel that, guys? Can you feel it in the air? It's freedom. Let's see what the blurb for this mission says. Just says Sadie needs to speak with you. The name of the mission, though, is Goodbye, Dear Friend. And that's a picture of Dutch. So I've said before, I believe the whole crew is kind of rendezvousing down here in Saint-Denis. So I don't know if this is going to be that score that Much and Dyke have been cooking up for the last little bit, or what the case is here, but I guess we're about to find out. In terms of bonding Buell here, bonding with Buell, not bonding Buell. We're definitely not bonding Buell to anything. Okay, so Buell is level 2 right now. There's only 4 bonding levels for Buell, so I mean, I could definitely take Buell for a little bit of a ride.
You ain't gonna believe this one, girl.
Come on, boy. Yeah, okay, boy. Yeah, okay, boy.
I know you can kind of bond with your horse just from riding the horse. Not entirely sure how long that takes, though. Let's just ride Buell around the city a little bit and see what happens.
You are crazy. Look out!
Whoa!
There, boy.
Whew, almost ran right into the back of that. That would have been pretty ugly. You can see that the progress has gone up, so let's see what we can do here riding Buell around.
There's a problem here?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's
Just
cool.
just trying to train my horse is all. Don't mind me. couldn't tell you where I am right now. I think we're headed back towards Saint-Denis now. This could take a little while, this whole bonding thing. Let's just see what happens. I'm already down here in Saint-Denis, and this is not necessarily going to be the end of Chapter 6. Let's check out progress. We're 72% through the story. This is Chapter 6 right now. We'll have to just wait and see what happens. Hopefully I have a little bit more time to work with Buell. There will probably be some riding involved in this mission anyways, which will only help.
Fuera de mi camino, move!
But yeah, this is going to be it. Just this Sadie Adler mission, and then we'll meet again. Once again, would like to extend a welcome to Maya B, to the Sweetfish Plays community. Thanks for joining us for this stream. If you have any more suggestions or comments moving forward, please don't hesitate to share them. And yeah, for the most part, just enjoy these vids. Thank you once again for being... Oh, there's that guy looking for Gavin again. We saw him in a smaller town. Crazy bastard. Or maybe they're two different people, both looking for a guy named Gavin. Yeah, thanks for being an active member of the community as well, and...
Good morning.
You know, kind of... helping to steer our focus of the plot in the right direction, so we don't get too off track. I can really appreciate that.
Hello?
Stop right now! Oh, the men! Law don't scare me!
It's a pretty funny thing to see.
Morning to you. Don't you worry about me.
There you are. Here I am. Come on, let's go. Let's go where? And why are you so riled up?
Today is a great day, Arthur. Today is the day they are going to hang Colm O'Driscoll.
That's so.
Rather they hang him or I shoot him.
Oh, they are gonna hang him.
Yeah, and not before time.
That boy's been on the gallows more than most. I wouldn't count anything until his neck's broke.
Well, nor would I. Which is why Despite us being wanted men, we're gonna attend the event ourselves.
And follow him onto the scaffold?
Well, let's hope not. But if I could see that son of a bitch breathe his last, I think I'd die a happy man. We are gonna disguise ourselves.
In this?
In this.
Okay.
Come on.
And we're dressed as cops.
Don't we just look the part?
We'll cut through the alley to get to the gallows. We keep our weapons holstered, our disguises on, and our wits about us.
Mrs. Adler, might I say, being a fancy woman of Saint Denis suits you.
I'd dress up like the Queen of Sheba if it meant seeing that son of a bitch swing.
Colm hung me up, nearly butchered me. That don't mean I'm comfortable in this woolen coat.
You made it out of that predicament, as I remember, Mr. Morgan. My husband weren't so lucky.
You lost your husband. I lost my darling Annabelle. That poor boy Kieran. We've all lost something because of Colm. And that is why we will shepherd him to eternity.
Amen to that.
Now keep those fingers off those triggers, because we'll need cool heads and calm dispositions to see this done.
Whoops.
Practice what you preach, brother.
Whatever do you mean?
Are you gonna keep your cool? Really? When you seem to lose it all so often now.
This doubting and questioning of yours, I miss the old Arthur.
Don't we all?
You two quit it. We all got a job to do, and we're all in rough agreement about how we're doing it. As far as I can tell.
Exactly.
We'll get it done, all right.
All right, then. Come on. We got a hanging to witness.
So here's the O'Driscolls once again. Maybe not the big Chapter 6 ending mission that I imagined this one might be, but again, here's the importance of Colm O'Driscoll. And we spoke at the beginning, one of the comments that Maya left once again was about Colm O'Driscoll and some of our history with him, and that might have been a little bit of foreshadowing coming into this mission. Finally, the opportunity to see Colm O'Driscoll hanged, and the O'Driscolls have had such a negative impact on the gang, the Vanderlyn gang, that these three, Sadie Adler, Dutch Vanderlyn, and Arthur, are willing to step aside, step away from their freedom plans for a second, to actually go into a really public, crowded space just to see Colm O'Driscoll hanged. That's how obsessed Dutch and I imagine some of the others are too, with just seeing this bastard hang and his neck break.
Look here, don't the public love an execution? Hey. All right. Good. Now, you see that pair of assholes?
Sure.
They're Colm's boys.
Yes, I think so.
What a surprise. I'm glad we're here. What are they pointing at?
I don't know. We gotta follow them and find out.
Yeah. Oh. Here comes someone. Stay here.
Don't do nothing.
Go brush that horse, officer.
Yes, sir.
The crowd came to see a show. We don't want to disappoint them.
I guess they did miss their chance to see John swing by his neck.
Hey, you know I wasn't going to let it come to that.
I guess I don't know what I know no more.
And I guess this isn't the time to question either my decisions or yours. Here and now, Colm O'Driscoll's going to get his due. He's cutting in there.
They were also talking about how they've all kind of personally been affected by Colm O'Driscoll, and aside from the obvious examples, Kieran and that hot air balloon ride over to the state penitentiary where that awesome hot air balloon driver was killed unnecessarily. Those were all victims of the O'Driscolls, but also Mrs. Adler's husband, Sadie's husband, was killed by the O'Driscolls, and Annabelle, Dutch's significant other, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong again. Was also killed by the O'Driscolls. So some really significant losses. You can understand why their frustration, again, is kind of reaching a tipping point.
What's it look like?
Bunch of cops.
How many?
Enough. So what do you think?
Paul's up on the roof. Once he starts shooting, we have to have our wits about us and move fast.
Yeah, I guess we faced worse than this before.
Sure. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Martin's getting me a necklace. Real
So,
silver. He told me.
they got a guy up on the roof overlooking the gallows. Find a way up there, onto one of these verandas, through a building maybe, and get him. And do it silently.
Well, obviously I'm gonna do it silently. I want to see this bastard swing.
Well, here goes nothing.
Arthur, here's a ladder. Find a way up to the roof and stop him. I'll go back to Mrs. Adler.
So Dutch is going to regroup with Mrs. Adler. I got to find a way up to the roof here, acting non-suspicious as a highly wanted man, wanted dead or alive, impersonating a police officer. So if this turns bad, this could turn really bad. I was going to say, I bet you they have a sniper up in one of the windows. That's what the guys are pointing at. They're obviously trying to hatch a plan to save Colm and stop him from getting hung. I bet you Dutch anticipated them trying to do that. Perhaps one of the reasons why he was so eager to make sure Colm swung and that there was no adverse reactions at the hanging, if you will.
Howdy, officer.
Bonjour.
So we have found some very interesting art. There's a naked pregnant lady if you've never seen one. There's a naked sleeping Asian lady.
Bonjour.
I guess nudity in itself is art to a lot of people.
Monsieur?
Hello, officer.
Sir?
I don't want to kind of like madly run through this gallery, attract suspicion.
Ma'am, I need to get out onto the roof. You know how I can do that?
I guess you could go out on the balcony if you took the stairs up a level.
Okay. Thank you.
So that's right, we obviously have those stairs over there. Like I said, I don't want to attract any suspicion in here. I have to kind of act like a police officer to the best of my abilities and just kind of act calmly like I'm patrolling more or less.
Sir?
Hello, ma'am. Hey, mister.
Je vous salue.
This is obviously the entrance to this gallery. Who even knew a place like this existed? There's so many small crevices and holes in Saint-Denis. Gosh darn.
Bonjour. Gallows. Which way was it?
So ultimately, we just have to kind of keep working our way up. Finding ways to get to the shooter, who I guess is now marked on the map, supposedly. We gotta get to that yellow area there. We're kind of on the roof now, so that's good. We should be able to work our way this way. I don't want to get seen up here. That's a pretty main street down there. Alright, there's the gallows over here. Across the street, I believe. Yeah, there they are. You can see the crowd. Oh!
Gun case.
Oh, shit!
What was that?
Alright, did that seriously actually just happen? Did I seriously just get brutally stabbed to death by a man with an eye patch? Or did I black out and dream all that for a second? That, I mean, just when you think interactions, I say this all the time, just when you think interactions can't get any weirder in this game, that happens. Man, I knew there was somebody lurking around because it was just the empty gun bag and the gun. They're smart, and then I heard a door open behind me, turn around, and there was nothing I could do. There was no way for me to react. Oh, shoot. He's got me again. Oh.
Your boss is gonna swing, I promise.
Let's make this quick. I'm a busy man.
Well, Cole, there goes your escape plan.
From Barbary. Yet
So I couldn't actually even use any weapon there, except for my knife, which that time I automatically pulled out, which was helpful. I guess the first time he came out through the door, and I don't know, for some reason I didn't pull my knife out and he just kept stabbing me, or he got a good grip on me and just kind of went away at me, but I was able to get the better of him there. That time, instead of grabbing me and stabbing me, he tackled me. But I was able to knock him away and not allow him to stab me first, so.
He has murdered, tortured, robbed, stolen, raped, and abused for a decade across 5 states, seemingly with impunity. Today, justice catches up with him.
As well you may. I've been a bad man.
Silence!
These charges...
This is not a court where you shall be tried. This is a place where your sentence is to be carried out. And your sentence, Colm O'Driscoll, is that you are to be hanged by the neck until you are dead. This is not a task we take lightly. It is not a task we enjoy. But it is a task we must carry out if our civilization is to prosper. Gentlemen, are we ready? Colm O'Driscoll, may God, in his infinite wisdom, have mercy upon your soul. Whenever you are ready.
Now you know how it feels to watch somebody you love die. You ruined my life!
Arthur! If you can hear me, shoot some of these O'Driscolls!
This is what happens when you the O'Driscolls. They will beg you to get between us.
Damn it!
So we should have a new set of missions available to us now.
How you get on, Arthur?
Well, we saw the bastard hang okay, but the whole thing ain't gonna save us.
I guess that's one less thing to worry about.
Well, that's exactly it.
Yes, compared to the entire government, in the end, Colm O'Driscoll didn't seem like such a worry.
A letter came for you.
Oh, okay.
I know it's from that Mary.
Mary?
She ain't worth it, Arthur.
Who is?
My dear Arthur, you never showed up. And now, after looking at the newspapers, I understand why. I don't imagine you'll receive this letter, but I, nonetheless, must send it. Arthur. Oh, Arthur. I was just starting to dream the silliest and softest of dreams. I miss you, and I will always miss you. But I cannot live like that. And it seems you cannot live any other way. When I'm with you, the world makes sense. But when we are apart, I see clearly that your world is not a world from which one can escape. I'm so sorry for everything. For everything long ago, and for starting up that business again. There's a good man within you, Arthur. But he is wrestling with a giant. And the giant wins time and again. You've broken my heart again. And I fear I have broken yours. And for that, I will never forgive myself. But you must let me go now. I enclose a ring you gave me many years ago, when we were both young. Not because I don't like it, but because I care for it far too much, and it reminds me too much of you. I hope one day you will find some people in love who can use this, for it kept me thinking of you all these years, and I hope by returning it to you, I can finally be free. Goodbye, Mary.
And there's a goodbye letter from Mary Linton. Mary Linton was kind of like a love interest for Arthur. We got a trophy for it too, third time lucky. That's probably why the mission was called Goodbye, Dear Friend. It concludes here at camp with Tilly giving us the letter from Mary Linton. So it looks like despite crossing paths with Mary Linton again in his lifetime, Arthur really unable to pursue anything with her. Mary Linton was a great woman. I definitely appreciate her. But we should have some new missions up and coming. It's a good thing. Start us out at camp here. Although we really won't need to sleep or do too much here. And then in terms of new missions, well, we're actually going back up to the Fort Wallace Indian Reservation area around Cumberland Forest. Eagle Flies has another mission, so we have another run in there. Obviously, it's still chapter 6. That wasn't the end, so we still have some time to get a higher bonding level with Buell. If you can tip me off on any other things going forward that maybe I should or should not do, for particular outcomes or extra cutscenes or stuff like that, definitely let me know. This is what I mean when I say comment down below. Let's stay in the loop about this as a community, and then it makes things more fun for everybody. So make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already as well. Everyone counts. So that's what our focus is going to be next time. And aside from that Eagle Flies mission, not really a whole lot else going on. We don't really have a whole lot else happening in terms of stranger missions. I could probably do some more extra content if I was looking for some more side stuff to do, and that might actually give me a chance to actually bond higher with Buell and maybe even some of my other horses. So that's a thought if we want to tackle some more side stuff. If you haven't already checked out the extra content videos that are up, definitely go ahead and do that, and maybe I'll work on some more in addition to trying to get this Eagle Flies mission done. But I did what I wanted to accomplish today, and that is good. Just to touch on that mission a little bit, it's a lot more of a pivotal mission. I can understand it a lot more, you know, having that happen so close to the end of the game. And the whole O'Driscolls, I mean, there's lots of gangs, but the O'Driscolls had a very particular impact on us as a group as a whole, and a lot of individuals within our group. And you know, it seemed that no matter what, Colm Driscoll always kind of came out on the upper hand. And I remember a mission way back at the beginning trying to track him down. We were tipped off on his location, and then when we got there, nobody was there. So to see him finally come to the realization when he saw that his men had guns up to their heads, and that the sniper that they were supposed to have in position to shoot him down was actually killed, and it was Arthur up there waving at him, you could see the blood just go right out of his face. You could see just this look of terror on Colm O'Driscoll's face, and a big moment of karma in that mission for Colm O'Driscoll, and really a long time coming, and one less kind of group, if you will, that we have to worry about. I remember attacking a pretty prominent Lemoyne Raiders base at some point, which helped take them out a little bit. We haven't really been bothered by them in a long time. Now we've kind of taken care of the O'Driscolls, so you know, there's less and less going on for us, which is good. We are kind of breaking away from a lot of the strings and ties that are holding us to this past way of life, and we're kind of moving in a new direction. Now one of the only things to do is actually get gone into an entirely new direction, into an entirely new land, preferably for Arthur. This big freedom mission or whatever for the gang. That's kind of one of the next big things, but there's another, you know, acquaintance or friend of Arthur that kind of breaks away in Mary Linton, and we're making some good progress here on the story. This is a good place to save and quick back at camp. Not really too bad of a mission. That one was kind of, like I said, a long time coming. So 0.5% of the game that mission covered. That's all I got for you. Keep the discussion going, and I will see you on the other side.